Well, welcome to another Legion Outpost edition. This one, we're not even looking at Legion stuff so much. We are looking at the top five tabletop games, in my opinion. This is not something that's going by the amount of tabletop sales or anything like that, because there are some really high selling games that are not on my list. Like, for example, Warhammer. Warhammer does hit my list in sort of a way, but not the way you're thinking. And so Warhammer is one of the top selling games. There is Games Workshop is everywhere, and I do like Game Workshop games, but not the way we necessarily think about it. But let's get back to the point. When I was a young kid, I loved playing with my action figures, and I collected two types of action figures: Star Wars and GI Joe. And so one day when I was over at a friend's, we were playing with our GI Joes, and I was only 10 years old at the time, and he pulled out this game. It was a G.I. Joe game, and I went and bought it immediately. But it's what got me started in tabletop gaming. And so here it is, tabletop gaming. This is not on my list, but I wanted to mention this because this is how I got started into gaming on the table, like tabletop style gaming. We would take, it comes with these little paper figures, but you could put your actual G.I. Joe minifigure on it. And so I had these G.I. Joe minifigures, and we played Commando Attack game, and I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with the idea. And then that started me down the road of figuring out, hey, maybe I do like gaming like this. And then I got into like a Star Wars game made by West End Games and a few other games. And I don't want to ruin my top five. So that's kind of how I got started. And this was back in 1986. I was 10 years old. And this blew my mind and got me into tabletop. Well, let's go with my number five pick of my opinion, the top tabletop games. And so we're going all the way down to number five, and that is Armada. I really enjoy Armada. I love this game. I played this game competitively for a little while. I kind of stopped playing when they switched the rules, and I haven't got really back into it. And there's not a lot of people in my area that play it. I could play it every once in a while. I just haven't got as much playtime on it. That's why it slips all the way down to five. Even though I love this game, I really enjoyed this game a lot, and I love the strategy behind it. And I really have to say this is one of my favorite of all tabletop games, and so that is really why I love it, and this is why it's at number five of all my tabletop games. Now let's head on to our number four pick, and number four is Blood Bowl. Blood Bowl is a game I started playing very early, and when I started playing Star Wars from West End Games, in Blood Bowl, I saw some people playing this in the store, and I love football, and so then I got interested. I bought a team. I bought the board, and it's not this one. I've got the old one myself still. I have 4 or 5 different editions of this, and I really started playing this, and I loved it. I played orcs and humans, and then I got into playing the halflings, and I love the challenge of playing the halflings. It was a lot of fun. I find that I play this game more on the computer now than I do on the tabletop, just because finding the people to play in my area have not been as much. But I do have about 6 or 7 teams, so if I did find people that wanted to play, we could play the game. But I love this game. It's one of my favorite games, and this is a Game Workshop game. This is from the Warhammer world. And so let's head on to game number 3 in my list. Game number 3 on my list is Sega. And it's not like the video game Sega. This is a Viking Battle tabletop game, and this is one of the most unique rules that when I first got onto this, I really loved it. It was low model content. You can see an army right there. Very few. You have your hero and a few other things. The one annoying thing about this is that it has unique dice for every army. And so if you want to buy more than one army, you have to buy more than one dice. What I did is I made my own dice. I didn't actually buy their dice. I decided that I was going to make my dice, so I printed off all of them. Then they give you a file to actually print them off. I printed off all the different type of dice and onto stickers and put them on blank dice. But the good thing about this is Sega, they do have their own line of minis, but they allow you to kind of play any Viking style mini you can get. So you can buy some pretty cheap Viking miniatures and make up this game pretty cheap. And so it's a very affordable game, and it has a great rule set. I love the rule set. The only problem, as I said, is the dice, and you have to buy a army book to be able to play with each army, which gets into that whole problem I have with Warhammer, is the multiple books buying and stuff like that. But this game is fun. It's quick. It is a scrimmage style game, and I love this game. It's a good game to get your juices playing, ready for playing Viking styles. Now, here's the thing: there is a lot of games in this genre. Like tabletop gaming is a lot. So I do have a couple honorable mentions that I want to mention that I enjoy, and there's different reasons why they didn't make my top 5. But here's my honorable mentions. Honorable mentions: BattleTech. I love BattleTech. There's nothing like big BattleTechs moving. I have a 3-dimensional board, which makes it kind of a little bit better with different tiles and not all the little hexagonal thing that there is there. But the problem with BattleTech is it can be quite mathematical. It can be quite daunting to keep track of all the armor, especially you get a huge, like heavy mech or assault class mech. You get these mechs, and it gets a lot of work and a lot of things going like that. Now, I have never got into Alpha Strike. I hear Alpha Strike's a lot easier, but I wonder if it takes away the thing about fighting these big, huge mechs that make you feel like you got to peel the armor off and stuff like that. I've done a campaign with this. I've written campaigns. I've done a mix between this and the role-playing stuff, and I really love BattleTech. I have to say I'm a sucker. I've read all the books. I really do like BattleTech, yet I've never played Alpha Strike. And I want to give it a try to see if I enjoy that version of the game. But it's honorable mention. And then the other one of that's from Games Workshop is Warhammer Quest. This was a genius game. I love this game. I enjoy this game. I have remade all the maps on by hand with plaster and stuff, and it's just a great game. It's a lot of fun. Play it with a lot of different people, but it's a pain to get out and all the cards and everything. I really find that it is hard, and if I'm going to get out something that's like this, I sometimes get out my Imperial Assault game, which I also like, which is very similar style to the game, but I do like Warhammer Quest better than Imperial Assault in the basics of it. I like Warhammer Quest. It's a good game. I really enjoy it, but I don't get it out, and my stuff is scattered between boxes and stuff, and so I don't play it. And there's not enough people to play it because you want to run a whole campaign when you play it, and that takes time and changing the boards and stuff like that. And so that's the reason it just makes honorable mention and not my top 5. Now let's go to my number 2 game, and this is going to be a little surprise for some of you, but my number 2 game is Legion. This is the game I talk about the most. This is the game I enjoy playing a lot. I really enjoy the strategy of this. I play competitively. I play for fun. I just enjoy this game. I put a lot of effort into making tabletops. I hobby this game. I just finished painting every single unit that's out. I'm done completely my whole Legion collection. I have at least 2 of every unit, except for the ATRT for the clones. I only have 1 of them just because I couldn't find any more of that. I've never been able to buy more than that. Most units I have 3 to 4. But yeah, I finished painting everything, so I'm kind of bored and don't have anything left to paint. So I guess I'm going to have to get into painting more of my 3D terrain that I've been printing and get my boards that I'm trying to get done for this game. And so here's a great game. If you want to know more about this game, you can check it out on my page. I've got lots of information about this game, and it is one of the best games I've played. It kind of steals a little bit from Sega. That's kind of why I got into this game. It's similar to things. Fantasy Flights make some good games when they made these games. Now, I know AMG makes it now, or adopt it now, but when Fantasy Flight did it, but Fantasy Flight was notorious for stealing other games. And they would take things and make a game. And like, for example, X-Wing, which is one of their more popular games at one point. It's not covered by anybody anymore. But it's still alive because there's a great community. But it stole all its rules from a game that Fantasy Flight had got, and they called it Wings of Glory, Wings of War. And they stole a lot of their rules from that, and then they ditched Wings of War and Glory because it was somebody else's game, and then they really pushed X-Wing, and X-Wing was a good game for them. Well, that brings me to my number one game, tabletop game, and that is Wings of Glory and Wings of War. I absolutely love this game. I don't play the World War II version. I do have it, but I don't play it as much. I find that I like the World War One, the way it works, the way you maneuver, the way you shoot. It's fun. It's all card based. It's there is no dice involved. You get your damage cards, much like Armada, which I think probably got stolen from this a little bit. But this is one of my favorite games, and I still play this today. I have, I think, every ship and doubles of a few, and we have made campaigns with it. We've made World War One reenactments with it. We've had a great time playing this game, and it's one of my favorite games. You can sit down with a brand new player and teach them in 2 minutes, and they enjoy it, and you can learn this to be skilled at the game within 10 minutes, yet there's still a whole level of competition that goes above and beyond this. If you've never tried Wings of Glory, it's hard to find the models and stuff now, but was one of the greatest games that I ever played, and I really enjoyed it. And I started with, it was just cards, there was no models, and so you just had to put the cards down. And then I love the fact they went to models, because I love the 3D elements of tabletop games. So it went from a card game to a tabletop game, and that's why it makes this category, and I absolutely love this game. But here's the thing. There are so many other great games, and I could have made a list. I could have made a list of top 20. I never got into Warhammer 40K for all you 40K lovers, just because I didn't enjoy that style. I did play Warhammer Fantasy, and I have about 4 or 5 different armies for Warhammer Fantasy, and I enjoyed that game. But these are my top 5, and there is a lot of games out there, whether you want to play bolt action or whatever. There's tons of tabletop games, but these are my favorite in the order that I like them the best. And thank you. You can check out more of my videos or like and subscribe. That is greatly appreciated. It doesn't cost you anything, but it really helps me to be motivated to keep doing videos. Thank you guys, and have a wonderful day, and may the force be with you.